something. But
We had a plan B come up, Mason.
yeah, the Lord provided, Michigan provided, Sharon Moore provided a large
uh,
talking point. We'll save that. What I kind of want to get into right now
yeah,
is the loser mentality that I keep seeing from Notre
yeah,
Dame. And
yeah,
it's not a thing of that I disagree with them on a lot of fronts. It's the
yep.
fact of the way that they are going about it is the most crybaby thing I've ever seen. For one, I don't think that your resume was strong enough for you to really be that mad about Alabama getting in over
Thousand
you.
percent.
I don't think it was strong enough. You didn't beat anyone outside of USC, and USC is a good win. Is that better than at Georgia?
No.
No. So yeah, you can say that Alabama lost to Florida State. Oh, I understand that. That is a valid point. Alabama
Yeah,
didn't look great down the stretch. You played Syracuse. Like
yeah,
okay. You have a comparison there that you could make the argument that Notre Dame
yeah,
deserved to be in more. You couldn't make the argument good enough that you're going to take your ball and go home and throw a fit. The,
yeah,
the the real reason why I would be angry if I was a Notre Dame fan is because the committee led you to believe
yep,
that you had a chance of making this thing, right? They led you
yep,
to believe for a month, 6 weeks that you really had a chance of making this thing. And when it came down to it, they were never going to put you in over Miami. They were never going
mhm,
to put you in over the SEC runner up. They were never going to
yeah,
put you in over a G5 that was the highest ranked conference champion. Those things were never going to happen.
yep,
And yes, I understand the anger. I would be angry too. Saying the ACC betrayed you because they propped up a team that is a member team. You're mad at the ACC because they propped up Miami and they ran a campaign for Miami and they really pushed Miami. What do you
yeah,
expect? You have not given anything to the ACC besides you play them.
yeah,
You have to do that too. Notre Dame, I want this to be very well, like everyone to really think about this. Notre Dame has to schedule 12 games too. So it's not like, oh, well, out of pity, we're going to play the ACC teams. No, you have to schedule games. You have to. And Notre Dame has been blessed with the opportunity in a sense to be able to have a conference that they have a partnership with. It helps the ACC too because there are eyes that follow Notre Dame. I don't think it's the eyes that they think is following Notre Dame because you know how many
yeah,
games I watched in Notre Dame this year?
yeah.
Two,
I watched maybe one, maybe two.
two. I
I
mean,
might have
it's
watched two.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not like they have the eyes that they think in their head that they have. So you're being blessed, and yes, you are blessing as well. But to say that they betrayed you and like they owe you something, they don't owe you anything. The ACC is going to make millions of dollars off of Miami just being in the first round. Is Notre Dame
Yeah.
going to cut a check to the ACC if Notre Dame would have made it? Did they
Well,
last year?
there was a thing too where Ohio State, and I just used them because they went to the national championship against Notre Dame. They would have to make it to the national championship for the next 3 years to make the same amount of money as what Notre Dame made just off of last year because they didn't have to split it with
Yeah.
anybody. The
Is
whole
Notre Dame
thing
cutting the
is,
ACC a check?
yeah, I understand why Notre Dame's mad because to me, you probably wouldn't favor them over Indiana. You wouldn't favor them over Ohio State. You wouldn't favor them over Georgia. Probably wouldn't favor them over Oregon. And then it would start where you would favor them over Texas Tech, probably. And that's just brand biased, really.
Yeah.
That's not
Would you
because,
favor them over Ole Miss? I mean, that'd be tough.
yeah, I would. Right now, I would. Like,
But
right
one
now
and a
in the
half.
playoffs.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it would be a pick 'em, but I think, like, Notre Dame is playing very good football. I'm glad. I don't want to say I'm glad to see them not in the playoffs, but I feel like that is a good football team. I feel like the way they're arguing it doesn't help. They're really not
no.
helping their case. Them not getting in over Miami completely makes sense. Like that's kind of what was going to happen. The whole Alabama thing, like I understand why you couldn't keep Alabama out, but at the same time, it's like I said it last week. I don't like that a 3-loss team got in.
It
Now I
should have
know they
never been
play.
Notre Dame versus
No,
Alabama. That should have
no,
never been the discussion. It should be Notre Dame versus JMU, which should be the
yeah. Well,
conversation.
Well, the thing is like all this leads back to the ACC and their tiebreaker rules kind of screwing,
Yeah.
everybody. And really, the SEC's a victim of it too, or not a victim, but like they do it too. Why was
We
Alabama in the SEC championship game when you had Ole Miss only had one loss, like completely just one loss in general. Texas A&M only had one loss, and you had Alabama with two losses get in. And I know there's some tiebreaker scenarios
yeah, I
there and
don't
like all that, but like if you don't have a head to head, it should just go to the highest ranked team in the conference.
Well, it's because
Um,
Alabama beat Georgia, Georgia beat Ole Miss,
yeah,
Georgia beat Texas. So
yeah, and
and
then Texas
you
beat
throw,
Texas A&M, and like I mean
yeah,
I understand why, but like it just kind of throws a wrench in it.
it
Because I
yeah.
honestly, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
It's
and the
weird.
SEC was victim to this last year. Just the
Yeah.
same way Notre Dame is victim to
Yeah.
it. The SEC was victim to it last year. Nobody wants to remember that Alabama was ranked 11 and they got left
Hmm.
out because you had to put Clemson in and they didn't want to offend the ACC for some reason. They let SMU in. The SEC was very much a victim. This isn't our first rodeo with complaining
Yeah.
with the committee's decisions, and I think the committee has been maybe one of the worst parts of this year. Is like, and it's
Yeah.
not just Hunter Yurachek. I complain about Hunter Yurachek a lot because that is our athletic director, the
Yeah.
athletic director that runs the school that I cheer for every single week in every single sport. That is my athletic director, and his whole thing has been bad on as the front man for it. But we don't know what the process is. That's a huge issue with this.
Yeah.
We don't know what are they valuing. I mean,
I
really?
don't know because they got on there and said, well, the reason because the whole thing was like when they flipped Alabama and Notre Dame the week prior when Alabama played Auburn, they were like, well, Alabama was up 17-0 on Auburn. Okay, well then Alabama also gave up a 17-point lead, and it was like, well, they went for it on fourth down. Here's the whole thing to me too. Like I understand Alabama kind of had a tough part of their schedule, but it's not as tough as what it looked like when they were playing it. For one, for two, Alabama has looked like an absolute awful team for probably the last 4 weeks.
Yeah,
It started,
and they're banged up. They're banged up. They haven't looked
and
like they have
yes,
looked.
and I get that, but it's like, are we going on like? I don't know. I don't like the whole aspect of like, well, they're in the SEC or they're in the Big Ten. So if even if they, imagine if I'm trying to think of a team like a Penn State would have got in, or a Michigan would have got into the conference championship game. It's like, and they didn't have this person and this person and this person, and now that Alabama's in the playoffs, they're talking about Ty Simpson might not even be able to play, and apparently I forget their head coach's name. It just slipped off the
Before.
end of my tongue. Yeah, he might be leaving, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean,
Yeah, I
I I, I don't know. I think the ACC kind of screwed it up to where the whole situation's kind of crap right now. The only good thing is like, can you give me a team that you would say has an easy path to the playoff? There's really not one. I mean, maybe Ole
I mean
Miss and
someone.
Oregon,
I
but
mean, one team played 10 straight games where they were favored the entire time, and it was by a million. Like it wasn't close, and
yeah,
it was Notre Dame.
yeah, that's what I meant. I'm talking about like the teams that are in the playoffs. There's really not an easy path like there was last year.
Texas
Like
Tech was a very easy, well, not very easy, but comparative
no, no,
to.
no. I'm talking like right now from this point on. Is
Oh
there a team that's in the playoff? Like last year, you had Penn State. They played SMU and then they played Boise, and then it's like, okay, well, they haven't played anybody. There's really not that
no,
anymore
there's not.
because you don't have that automatic first round bye. Like, Ole Miss does play Tulane, and Georgia does play James Madison.
Oregon
And
plays
then
James
I get,
Madison.
and then, or yeah, Oregon. And I mean, I guess Oregon plays James Madison and then Oregon plays Texas Tech. I guess that might be the easiest road, but we don't really know how good Texas Tech is. I mean, we like to think that they're good, but we don't know how they're going to stand up against an out of conference opponent. I know they looked good against BYU, but I don't really know what BYU is.
I
Um,
think I think the biggest travesty in this whole thing is that Notre Dame has like they're beating their chest. We're
yeah,
Notre Dame, we don't have to go to a crappy bowl game. We feel like we were screwed. And it's like if I was a parent, right? And my son, that was his last game,
yeah,
was at Syracuse that they played. And
yeah,
I thought that they were going to the playoff. Okay. Either way, no matter what, I think they have one more game. No
yeah.
matter what, going into that, they think we have one more game. And then for it to just end like suddenly, like that
Well,
sucks.
what's dumb too is next year Notre Dame has an automatic clause to where if they're at least ranked 12th or above, they automatically get in. And it's like,
Who else has that luxury?
that's what I'm saying. And guess what? There was a team this year that played arguably the worst team in the ACC, arguably one of the worst teams in, sorry, the worst team
The
in the
worst team in the
SEC,
SEC.
and then one of the worst, if not the worst team in the Big Ten. They played Purdue, they played Arkansas, and then Syracuse was pretty bad. It's Notre Dame. Now, I will say they looked apart in all the games that they played except for the first two. If it was any other year, I bet they would get in. But like all you had to do was win one of your first two games. That's it. Win one of them. If they beat Texas A&M, they're in. If they would have beat
Mhm.
Miami, they would be in. So it's like you can't.
Yep.
I say it for everybody, Mason. You've heard me all year. All you have to do is win, and you're in.
Yep.
Like I don't. I mean, you can talk about schedule all you want to. Well, yes. If I mean Ohio State had a, I wouldn't say the easiest schedule, but they did have an easy schedule. But guess what? Ohio State was also 10-1 against the spread. So even if you said, hey, if Ohio State wants to get into the college football playoffs, they have to at least cover their spread. Well, guess what? They would still be in. That's what you have to do against inferior opponents. Now, if you're playing inferior opponents and you're only winning by 3 points, okay, we got to kind of raise an eyebrow there. But like your schedule is your schedule. It just depends on if you're going to do in that schedule what you're supposed to do. And Notre Dame didn't do that. Because guess
Mm-mm.
what? There was other teams that played hard games at the beginning of the year. I mean, Texas can bitch all they want to about, well, we shouldn't have played Ohio State at the beginning of the year. Okay, well, guess what? If Ohio State would have lost to Michigan and lost in the Big Ten championship game, and they lost to Texas, they would be 3-9. Do you think Ohio State would get in? I mean, maybe, maybe not. You don't know. The whole thing about the thing at the beginning, like say Ohio State beat Texas, but then they lost to Michigan and lost to somebody else. That would put them at 10-2. Well, that game at the beginning of the season gives them a monopoly chip to kind of earn something at the end of the season, I think. Texas had the monopoly chip. It's just they lost too many games, quote unquote, don't lose to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose
Well,
to
and,
Ohio
and I
State
think
and you can lose to Georgia. Don't lose to Florida, and I guarantee you Texas would be in.
Well, and I think a team that has the perfect claim to be in the playoff. They won the games they were supposed to win. They had a great year. They have a star player. Every eye has been on them all year because of their quarterback. It's Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt wasn't
Mm-hmm.
talked about. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Vanderbilt was talked about for a little bit, like, oh, maybe they're deserving. You know what Clark Lee said? Clark Lee said, we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We didn't win the games when it mattered.
Exactly.
Like he said, he took it on the chin. And then you got Marcus Freeman on his way to Cancun and their AD complaining about, oh, well, everybody hates Notre Dame. Oh, well, we weren't allowed into the Big Ten back in the 1800s. Nobody cares.
Well,
Like
come
if
join it now.
you can't ask for the benefits of being in a conference and not join
Exactly.
one. You can't do that. And
Exactly.
that's
That's
what
like
Notre Dame's
me.
doing. And it's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
That's like me. I'm going to come move in with you, Mason. You're going to buy my groceries. You're going to, pay for all the subscriptions. But when rent comes around, like my personal property tax is coming in. I'm going to get my taxes at the end of the year, but I'm not going to give you any because I
Yeah.
just don't feel like it. I'm going to work off all the benefits. I'm going to get everything you get, but you're not going to get anything I get. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's what Notre
the
Dame's doing.
more I listen to Notre Dame, the more I hate Notre Dame. And I don't know, everybody does hate Ohio State, but Ohio State also does have a crazy large fan base, probably the largest fan base in college football. So it kind of doesn't feel like you're hated all the time. I mean, if you're a Notre Dame, especially with this, especially with the wuss out energy that your school is giving, like, I just don't know how you can still be a deep, long fan. Like, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, your AD is an absolute crybaby. Like, crybaby. Like, just play
Bad.
in the bowl game. And it's not like you're not going to go to a big bowl game. I mean, you can't sit here and tell me there's not going to be eyes on Michigan. Is it Michigan, Texas? Is that who's
I think
playing?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Michigan, Texas, or Illinois, Vanderbilt. Like, those are two big bowl games that, guess what? I don't care who wins. Yeah, they don't technically matter, but they're going to be fun to watch because they're
That's what
two
college
good
football is
teams.
all about. Are the games.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's about the games. I mean, I don't.
Exactly. And here's my thing, too. Arch Manning is about to go through 15 bowl practices and gain another game that they can try stuff. Honestly, they can try whatever they want to. Guess what? CJ Carr is not going to get that.
Mm-mm.
And that hurts you. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to play in the games, but whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I think it's funny. I think it's funny to listen to. I hope Marcus Freeman leaves after the transfer portal opens.
I mean, to me, it's like, what does Notre Dame think they're doing? Do they think my feelings are hurt? Do they think the average college football fans like, oh, Notre Dame got left out? I'm glad they are not playing the bowl game. I don't care. I'll never think about it after.
No,
As soon as the playoff starts, I'll never think about Notre Dame not making the playoff ever again. The only
no.
reason why everyone's talking about this, and this is the second biggest now,
Yeah.
was the biggest storyline, is because there's no games going on this week besides Army Navy, and what are we going to talk about with Army Navy? I mean,
There's nothing to talk about. There's
a lot of
Washington and
tradition.
yeah, Washington plays somebody. I don't know who it is, but it's not a. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll turn it
Right.
on, but I'm not
Right.
really worried about it.
Like it's the Army Navy game's fun. It's super cool sight to see, historical, like one of the best rivalries, one of the best times in college football.
Yeah,
The
I
only no
don't know.
one's talking about.
I don't know who their quarterback is.
Yeah,
Either
I
team.
don't know who either head coach is. I don't know. I mean, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I
no.
don't know.
I mean I appreciate everything that they do, but I don't like nobody keeps up with it like that.
No.
Like I mean, yeah. You want to get to the story?
Let's get to it. Sharon Moore reportedly has been fired. Now, that right there is a storyline of its own. But we were
Do
blessed
you,
with even more. Even
do you want
more.
me do you want me to give you the time frame, Mason, of what happened and how it all happened and everything? Because I just listened. I mean, I said something to you about this like 3 weeks ago. It wasn't on our podcast, but I said something about like I've heard that Sharon might not have been you, but I said I've heard that Sharon Moore was having like allegations put against him, but I didn't think it was true. I just think they were trying to get rid of him.
Right.
So
And Josh Pate said today on an Arkansas radio show that he had heard in September that this
yeah,
was going on. So,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
okay. So that nobody really knows what the whole time frame of this is, but apparently early season, Sharon Moore and his assistant got brought into the office and questioned by the AD. They both denied it. Up to November, everything was kind of squashed, and then it came out that Sharon Moore was having sexual relations with his assistant. Now, if we fall back, his assistant 2 years ago, before Sharon Moore became the head coach, was just a regular assistant, like made $50,000 a year. As soon as Sharon Moore became head coach, she became the head coach's assistant and got a $40,000 pay raise. So now she's making like almost $100,000 a year. So let's bring it back to November when all this stuff kind of happened. So apparently Sharon Moore was sleeping with this girl. We don't really know how long it was taking place. We don't really know how long it was happening, how many times it was happening. But from what Sharon did, it seemed like he like fell in love with this girl.
Mhm.
So he he Ubered an Airbnb, or sorry, Ubered a Plan B to the coach's office. He Ubered a Plan B to the coach's office, and all that went out. And then that's when it kind of came out to the public. So he did that. So obviously he was having sexual relations with the girl, and he didn't have enough strength to withdraw himself at the time needed to not need a Plan B, if that makes sense. And then Sharon Moore was fired after after the Plan B and everything got out, and they did their research and stuff on it and found out that it was true. Sharon Moore was fired. When he was fired, so he was fired on, like, let's say this was like Monday or Tuesday. He was fired. The
This happened
next day,
yesterday.
yeah. Well, that's when everything came out because they
Yeah.
fired him, but then they didn't say anything about it. So they fired him on like Tuesday. Wednesday, I guess the lady, his assistant, was came out and was going to talk. Sharon went to her house and broke into her house or whatever, threatened to kill her and then kill himself, and then he was arrested. Mason, this is why we hate Michigan, because
I
this is
love
the
Michigan for this. This is
this is
great.
the end. This is the end of it. You have
Yeah.
Michigan men in the last 5 years. They've had 7 coaches arrested, a bunch for a DUI. You had the biggest cheating scandal in all of college football in history. You
Oh,
had
not in history. Oh, that's not over exact. Not in history of the
what?
modern.
What's bigger?
Pony Express was way bigger.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't know.
Sandusky was bigger.
Yeah, but that didn't have anything to do with cheating.
No, but I'm talking about scandals.
No, I mean cheating, like cheating.
Well,
Like they
Pony
were,
Express was definitely cheating.
yeah, you're right. But they were like filming games, like big thing. But you're right. I'll give it to you. Like modern day biggest cheating scandal. So they had that. Then they had somebody on staff that was quote unquote mentally disabled that was trying to meet up with underage kids at a Walmart. They caught him on freaking Patrol videos where they go around and catch them with the text and like all that. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people have seen that. So they have that. They have this Sharon Moore, and then they had another guy. I forgot what his name was. He was hacking into girls' computers that were going to college and stealing their nudes from their computers and their laptops. This was all within the last 5 years. And then they had somebody that wasn't even involved in the program. They were just at Michigan that was trying to come up with some kind of biological, like, pretty much to destroy all crops, like crazy. Just like are we in a movie?
Oh, it's honestly the best thing that could have happened in this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, what do we do? Like, what? This
Anything
is
to win.
this
That's
is
what it is.
worse.
I admire them. Anything it takes.
This is worse. This is worse than the Bobby Petrino post interview with him in the freaking neck brace.
Hey, way worse. Way worse. I'll give you that. Way worse.
And the thing is,
I even said yesterday. I said I don't care what you do, just don't wreck the motorcycle. Hey, he did more than wreck the motorcycle. He went at her with a knife. Like, what are
like,
we doing?
and what's crazy though, Mason, really is this true or not? Bobby Petrino's was the head coach this season for an extended period of time. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, this is the exact same thing Bobby Petrino did, except Sharon Moore went at her with a knife. If he would have just taken his licks, moved on, in 10 years we'd be talking about him being the head coach at Texas A&M or Texas Tech. But he didn't. He had to go full Rambo, double homicide or triple homicide. She took a Plan B. So, like, I mean, what? I don't know, dude. Like this just blows my mind. And then Dave Portnoy's retarded ass was like, "Yeah, this is good. We have to have Michigan men." What is good about being a Michigan man? Tell me. Like, I genuinely want to know. They keep saying like we're higher class than that. We have morals. No, you don't. You don't have morals.
I will say, as far as spectacles, right, in college football, you always have spectacles. You always have side stories, even beyond the games. The games are the main attraction. I really want to
Yeah.
focus, but the side stories. If you just get into some of the stuff that goes on around the country, it just, I mean, there's nothing
Wild.
else like it. There's nothing else like this.
There was, yeah, dude. I don't.
We need Michigan. We need them.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot.
I mean, could
There's
you
nothing else I
imagine
can
this
say about it.
happening anywhere else? I couldn't.
No,
This is the only place that it makes sense for this to happen.
and it's like so off, like off kilter and wild that you're just sitting there and you're just like, "There's no way that's true." Like what? They had to be making that up. But then you see the mug shot, and you're like, "Oh, I guess it is true." And for half the day today, I thought the mug shot was fake, and then I
Oh, I
look
thought
at
it
it
was
again.
AI. I did too. I thought it was AI.
Yeah, but no, he tried to go kill her. Just
Well,
nuts. And what's crazy too, is this girl is the daughter of a scout that's a scout for the Chicago Bears. Imagine that dude going to work.
yeah, I wouldn't go to work today.
No, your daughter.
No.
Never mind. I can't say that on the podcast. But like, whatever. It blows my mind. I mean, with the week being the way that it is, it just. I mean, we only have really, I guess, what next week, and then we have the playoff games. Yeah, so we
Yep.
really only have these 2 weeks. And next week we're gonna have bowl games and stuff like this. This was the really only week where it was like kind of calm. You have basketball to watch, stuff like that. And Sharon Moore's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go kill my mistress.
And it's just like the thing that's so crazy about it, really, to me is Michigan ever going to take a break from this stuff? I mean,
No,
you
because
got
before
Portnoy on
this,
Twitter. You
yeah,
got Jim Harbaugh's got a no show clause. You know how hard it is to get a no show clause in the NCAA.
yeah, for 10 years.
I mean, and then Connor Stallions has a documentary out. Michigan last year plants the flag. That's a whole thing, and then he gets suspended for 2 games this year, and then this is the conclusion. I will say, maybe Michigan fans should be ready for maybe a little bit quieter of a time in the national
A lot
media.
of and what's funny is the head coach that a lot of people think's going to come back and be the head coach, Jesse Minter, which he's a good defensive coordinator. He can't come and be the coach right now because he still has 3 days in a show clause. He can't come back and be the coach because he was on the team when they were stealing signs.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Brian Kelly going to Michigan today. Actually,
I would love that. I would love it.
I'm sure if I was an Ohio State fan or any team in the
I
Big Ten, I
heard
would love that too.
I heard that too. I think he's just like working on the northern accent before he goes up there.
Oh, he's from the Midwest, so that it'd be perfect for him. He won't have to act like he likes the Cajuns or Baton Rouge. And speaking of Baton Rouge, I know the whole Lane. We never even got to talk about Lane Kiffin and really get into the weeds of the Lane Kiffin story. Now, we talked about Lane Kiffin going to LSU and why would you do that? Da, 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 da. You think what Sharon Moore did was bad? I mean, Lane Kiffin hasn't pulled a weapon on anyone,
The
but Lane
Lane
Kiffin,
Files.
he has tried to pull a weapon of some sorts out on a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And like the more we hear about Lane Kiffin and the more like Ole Miss has time to really get all this stuff out. Now, let's say 80% of it is not real, or 85. Let's even say 90% of what has come out about Lane Kiffin is not real.
Come
The
on now, it's
10%
Lane
is
Kiffin.
terrible.
That's what I'm saying. It's Lane Kiffin. It's probably now if it was like Ryan Day or Kirby Smart, I'd be like, yeah, probably 90% is fake. It's Lane Kiffin. That shit's 50-50.
And like it's bad. And like the stuff with the dog alone, the dog story alone would be enough to give you like content for like a week.
Yeah.
The dog has been pushed to the back burner. It's like I don't know. I'm sure people that would watch this aren't necessarily well. I know Aaron for sure would be on Ole Miss Twitter like that, but like I
Yeah.
have just been in the weeds of reading text messages, seeing pictures that I don't
Yep.
want to see. The Lane Kiffin dog thing, like the way he would just annoy people, and like I think it's safe to say that at at almost every school, if you are really wanting to win and your coach is winning, you will cover up a murder. They would cover up a murder. They would,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I kind of skipped off the Lane stuff because it happened right before college championship weekend, so it kind of
Yeah.
skipped on it. But like, he's gonna win. I don't know. I don't want to say he's gonna win, but like the only coach out of the last five that hasn't won a national championship at LSU was Brian Kelly. So let's just say he's gonna win one. But when he leaves, it's going to be up in smoke in that place, and it's going to be bad because you think Ole Miss was bad. Wait till he tries to escape through the middle of the night in freaking Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to go take the USC
Bama job.
job or the
Yeah,
Bama
something like
job
that.
or a Georgia or Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State would ever touch that dude with a 10-foot pole, but
Touch over Meyer. Ugh.
yeah, that's true. But Urban Meyer wasn't like this. I mean, he was bad. Don't get me wrong. Like
No, when he
Urban
went to
Meyer was Urban
Jacksonville, it
Meyer.
came out.
Yeah. You're right. But I mean, like I don't know, man. It was the whole way it went down, and then like the way that he left. I don't think that helped. And then Ole Miss, I know, like I wouldn't let him coach the team either because like we seen what it did to Ohio State. I mean, our offensive coordinator was on a jet the next morning to South Florida, but like he's still coach. I don't know. I want Ryan Day to be done with him. But anyways, like, but now Ole Miss is like, oh yeah, all the offensive staff can come back and finish that out the bowl game, the playoff run, and it's like, do you think Lane talked to the backup quarterback or the wide receivers or like all these people? No, it was a position coach. Well, guess what? Ole Miss is about to get scalped.
I hope not. There is a lot of positive momentum in Oxford right now. You would think that after those couple of days that there was nothing positive that could have came out of there. But I will say Pete Golding,
Yeah,
I don't know that he is the guy for Oxford. I don't know if he's the guy to lead that program the way that the trajectory that they were headed on. I don't know if he can continue that exactly the way it was going. But I will say, as far as attitude, he has the right attitude. They've been able to flip a couple recruits. They haven't lost that many. I mean, they've lost 3 or 4, but they've been able to flip about the same amount. He has a way of interviewing. He has a way of like the way he carries himself that does lend me to believe that the people of Oxford trust him a lot more. They seem to enjoy him, and he seems that he is very capable of keeping this thing going for Ole Miss. Um, Speaking of which, the SEC schedules were released today. That game is in September, and if you're wondering what game
we
I'm
gotta
talking
go.
about, Lane Kiffin is going back to Oxford. Let me see if I can find the exact date.
We
Um,
gotta go, Mason. I'll go. I'm going.
I'm going to September 19th. It's going to be hot. LSU
That,
is coming to Oxford, so
it's gotta be a night game, right?
has to be.
I gotta go. I gotta get with Aaron to get me some Ole Miss stuff because I'm not rooting for LSU.
No, I mean I'm. The thing is, you might be. This might be the one time, Justin, that you could wear an Ohio State thing fully decked out, Ohio State gear, and they would not bat an eye at you. They would not care at all
No,
what you were wearing.
they probably wouldn't. All I would have to do
Like, I could wear.
all Ohio State stuff. Hey Mason, I might be about to have to go because I'm getting a call probably.
Okay.
But I would wear all Ohio State gear and just have something on my chest that says "I hate Lane Kiffin." Would be good. But I gotta go, buddy. I'm getting called out. I gotta go to work.
Okay. Enjoy it.
All right,
Uh,
bye.
Justin has to go real quick. He is. I don't think it was recording there. Justin has to go. He's on call for work. But yeah, so looking at some of these SEC schedules, they did like a whole TV show about it. I'll kind of talk about it. So LSU or Ole Miss's schedule. The non-con is Louisville, Charlotte, and Wofford. They're going to play Wofford in November. So to all the people that thought the SEC scheduling 9 games would get rid of cupcakes in November, you would be wrong. Um, Big games for them: LSU September 19th at home. That's obviously the big one. They got to go to Texas, Georgia at home. They go to Oklahoma again. Um, that's a pretty workable schedule, especially if they can keep things rolling. Arkansas schedule. This is what I kind of wanted to. I care more about this than I care about them. We go to Utah in week 2. That'll be very interesting, and then we get Georgia at home, Tulsa at home. We go to College Station to play at Kyle Field for the first time since I think 2011 or 20 or no, not 2011 because Bobby wasn't our coach. It had to be 2012 or 2013. Um, Tennessee at home. We go to Vanderbilt. We go to Auburn. We go to Texas, and we get LSU at the very end of the year again. That's a big deal to me, just because as an Arkansas fan, um, you love having the Arkansas game or the Arkansas LSU game, the game for the Golden Boot after Thanksgiving. It's kind of a big deal. What's up, Dirty Dave? How are you doing, man? Um, we're kind of finishing up here. The biggest thing to me, another thing about Arkansas' schedule is we're not playing Missouri at the end of November. We play them October 31st. I think that benefits us more, just because not that it doesn't benefit Missouri, but the last few years, I mean, every time we play Missouri, we pretty much know, okay, we're 6-6, or we're 6-5, or we're 4-7. So I do think it adds more to us maybe for that game. And then, okay, the Heisman Trophy released something. I thought they announced the thing. Another thing I kind of wanted to talk about was the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman Trophy finalist was like, I don't know, super underwhelming. I mean, Jeremiah Love, he had a good year. Fernando Mendoza, obviously, he's the quarterback of the number 1 team. Julian Sayin and Diego Pavia. What's crazy to me is like Trinidad Chambliss didn't even get a look. Trinidad Chambliss had great stats, and he missed 2 games. He had better stats than Mendoza and Julian Sayin, and he missed 2 games. Kawan Lacey had probably the best year out of any running back in the country, and he wasn't even considered. No one talked about him. And I think to an extent, it's not something that is a bias. I don't think it's a bias. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but ESPN didn't really push anyone besides Diego Pavia, and I think it kind of hurt them because eyes weren't on Kawan Lacey the way they should have been. They weren't on Trinidad Chambliss the way they should have been. And I think those are 2 guys that, with the right marketing, the right push behind them, they very well could have been Heisman guys. And maybe not win it, but they very well could have been there, and they could have got some votes, and you would have at least had a discussion. I have not seen anyone talking about the Heisman at all this year. There's not been a single moment that the Heisman has been brought up to me outside of this podcast. Like, I haven't had anyone be like, "Oh, who do you think is going to win it?" And even if someone did ask, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, I think it should probably be Pavia. Just as far as what you mean to your team, to me, it would have to be Pavia or it would have to be Mendoza. But I don't know. You got any questions, Dave? I don't really have much else to talk about. We got the playoff coming up. We got the Army Navy game coming up. We got a few little bowl games, like I think the Las Vegas Bowl is coming up. So there's not really much to talk about. Not much going on. Um, we started the show a little late, which is probably better. We didn't really have much to talk about today. So I know Georgia and Bama play again. That'll be a big one. I don't know. That's all I got. So I guess I'm going to close this out. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Give us a like on the video if you could. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to start trying to figure out the process of getting us live on TikTok again. I started it a while ago. I just hit a road bump, and I'm not really great with technology, so I gave up and got frustrated. But yeah, if you would, just give us a like, give us a follow. tell somebody, and if you could, go get whoever you live with their phone. I know they're logged in on YouTube. Every human that has a phone has YouTube. Um, Go get on their phone, make sure they're signed in, look up Three Deep South on YouTube, and go subscribe just to boost our numbers a little bit. We're trying to reach more people and get more followers. Just because this is a hobby and it is more of a passion project, but it is something that I would like to do and kind of see results with. It's fun to see the likes. It's fun to see the engagement. So if you could just do that for me, I would appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a very good rest of y'all's week. Make sure you get your Christmas shopping done. I know that's kind of wrapping up, pun intended. And everyone have a